Start off with Bitcoin. And we want to simply see retest of the 886 of the C point. That's a minimum objective off of that low, but I think what we're all looking for is that larger bust out move, obviously. If we're just straight up talking measured moves off of this next leg, especially if we get continuation into next week, which is really what you want to see. Um, I think your really kind of conservative case harmonic extension would be breakout would be up to that 62,000 level if you're going to get that move. This being some kind of 1618. Now we've talked about that C point on Bitcoin relative to the context within the context of these larger objectives. A lot of people talking 100,000, but we've just been doing the measured move, and especially since that last. This is an automatic pattern, by the way, on the weekly for Bitcoin. One other possibility that we've laid out that could get people give you minimum measurements that would get up there to close to some of those numbers like 100,000 a lot of people talk about is 89 90,000 of a to B C to D level, something like this. There's your A to B leg, come down to C to D. It's like that. We talked about that over the summer as what is the larger possibility. And one other thing that people were saying, well, what if this breaks down? What if Bitcoin fails? And a lot of people were saying, wouldn't there be a Gartley down here? It would look like this. Just move our numbers around. And this is a good way to go through the whole XABCD structure to say, okay, some people were saying, what about this possibility? Hey, if this rolls over, there you go, right at the 786. Your B point is at a 618. So a lot of people kind of flipping back and forth on what might unfold here if the top was already in Bitcoin. And then you got the other crowd that's saying, no, 100,000. You want to see this bust above that C point right now. I mean, you do not want to see this by the end of the month uh, below your C point. A couple more weeks here. You're really just first of the month, and busting through 53,000, closing above it, I think is pretty obvious. That would essentially negate this Gartley scenario that people brought up in our last discussion. Ideally, for me, I would love to see some kind of pattern on the daily. Get the software hasn't generated a monster pattern since the low, and that was check out the back to back. Again, back to back bat patterns. Just incredible. Actually, there was more in this. I'm gonna been looking in further back, getting into intraday data. Something I hope to share with people soon. Going back, looking at intraday data on Bitcoin when it was trading in the hundreds. It's really interesting. But the patterns just unfolding in the same regard. And now, all right, if we're going to get that larger move, everyone needs to know that that's an ABCD within the framework of harmonic patterns that would get you close to 80 to 100,000, but it's around 89,000 would be the number. And again, busting out above that prior high is will tell you where it's going to go. Ethereum did the same thing. A bunch of these had 1 hour patterns. I wanted to show that. I know several people posted this bat pattern. We had a really nice type 1, type 2 pattern. Again, if you're not aware of the type 1, type 2, the bigger moves are coming on the retest in this fashion. This not always this ideal, but something to be aware of. If you're looking for the home run scenario on your completed pattern here, chances are you're only getting a reaction. It's really important to know. So we're working with Harmonic Pattern Collection. This does all, this is for TradingView, does all the levels automatically, the patterns automatically. And this one concept, again, knowing that, hey, that's a reaction, that's usually what we get, and treat it accordingly. If we're looking for the larger move, it comes on the retest, and we look for that up to target too. Now, in this instance, this thing barrels through not only the target two, but the HSI, where it might signal, hey, take the profit. Not doesn't matter if you did or not, but again, that and Bitcoin did the same thing on the hourly. And there you go. Now notice how we had a bearish pattern, but blew it out. What's one sign here that that was to a pattern to avoid? No confirmation after the pattern completed. Those are some things I'll start discussing in future sessions. Probably just kind of focus on one concept for every session. But this is something we do with the software. The pattern completion, the automated level, comes in the form of this sun blue icon. And then that'll mark where the pattern officially can be considered complete. But is that the trade opportunity? No, we're looking for some kind of confirmation variable. Usually it's going to be harmonic strength index. We did not have that here. It went sideways as well for how many bars? 8, 10, failed by bar 10. Okay, these are, I think, some basic things to understand with the software. The filtering and more of what we do of looking for the first reaction in the retest, again, comes with a little bit of experience, but we give you guys all that information and follow along with what we do, charts we post online. A lot going on. One of the interesting things that I did want to talk about before going in any other altcoin is let's look at the structure of the total market cap. This has really been, I think, really interesting. So more harmonic than even Bitcoin or Ethereum on its own. We talked about this. We outlined a couple of possibilities for this immediate structure on the daily over the summer, and then kind of just conceded that this would be yield some kind of shark pattern, which it did. Let me bring that up. I think that was depending on your feed, just like Bitcoin, almost an exact 886. It was so close. You did satisfy the other BC extension where you want that as a 1618. And much like Bitcoin, this gave you a 5.0. So the 5.0 structure went up like that. You come back down and look how close that was. Time and time again, folks, the 5.0 will have that initial reaction up to the 886. And so for the total market cap, I think you're clear until you get to 2.38, 2.4, and then we see. You really want this to be the start of an aggressive move and go over week by week from this point. Let that be your C point. If you're really going to have that larger move and larger breakout and to, total market cap for crypto, which you need to have, or that's the top. You need to see fireworks now. You need to see this prior D point get taken out. It will likely get retested. Beyond that, I really want to see something special happen over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Total market cap go to 2.5 or 2.7 quickly. Can I give a quick set of rules of type 1, type 2? I think that's important to understand, and I will do one quick one because there's a fantastic pattern playing out with both Ethereum and Bitcoin. But let's again come back to that in a minute. Let's go back because I talked about this on Ethereum. This is what we were just talking about. So if you came in a little late, do check the beginning. But essentially, we're looking for a reaction. This is the expectation. On every harmonic pattern, can be a bat, can be a crab, Gartley, what have you. There's the action off the PRZ. Okay, and this is the harmonic pattern collection. Go to harmonicpatterncollection.com. Or even easier, go to harmonictrader.com and just sign up as a basic member, because all of the information for the free trial there's like 6 different platforms you can try. But the basic knowledge of how to manage it and how to read or what to expect from harmonic patterns, it depends on a few things. One, how does it reverse? Do you have confirmation? And for us, we use harmonic strength index and our other indicator, our amplified RSI. These are all based off of relative strength techniques, but the confirmation with the correct pattern is what gives us that move. It gives us that ability to hit the reactions like that and then manage the reversals. So go check that out. And again, everything is free. Take the free trial. I tell that to everybody. Don't subscribe until you've took the free trial and reviewed the free resources. But that's it. And again, on harmonictrader.com, I'll show that towards the end, where you can get the books that describe the reaction reversal strategies off of harmonic patterns. Now, I want to get to, because we're focusing on crypto in this session, a couple of the new, I've been calling them the new class, not a new class, but emerging class of crypto, the ones that have been going from 5, 10, 20 to maybe 30 or 60 or 100 billion. We talked about, of course, Solana. And even though that has gone sideways for a bit, now check it out. Breaking out. Last week we were talking about 136. Anywhere under that level. We had some longer term patterns. That's, again, check out last week's session. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let me see here. Maybe it was the hourly. I'm not sure. You've got a bearish pattern right now. You got a nice bearish shark. So I'm not saying jump on it now. If anything, that might be a nice area to look for a pullback, because this stuff has been moving crazy. I do think it was this shark pattern. We were looking at that as support, as well as having an oversold, fairly oversold condition after the big surge. Yeah, do check Solana in our prior discussions. If we pull this up on the 4 hour or the daily, what we're really gunning for is just another 886. This has actually got shark behavior. A lot of shark patterns kind of emerging, I think. Go to the 886 up at 216, 217. This is one. Boy, there's somebody in the Harmonic Pattern Facebook group. I'm sorry, the name slips me, but he has been posting M and W's on this AXS, and I just have to give you a shout out because this thing is. He brought my attention to this. This is another one to get on the radar. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying right now. It's already mooning. Um, but you wait for the pullback like this. That last pullback was insane, from 90 down to 50. But if you're playing something that's going to be a longer term daily continuation, all right, maybe maybe if you haven't looked at that, maybe you look at that. Maybe you start looking at that because if this is a larger breakout for a crypto like this, a lot of them maybe do this just all-time ABCD stuff up to 150. So 96, I know that's already pumping crazy, but talk to me in about 3 or 4 days. Let that come back. That's a lot like, here's the other one that we have mentioned in recent sessions is OMG. This has been just whipsaw behavior between 10 to 7 and then 11, bang, 13. Probably comes back to 10. And here's something on the for OMG on the check out the deep crab right now. Bearish. Okay. So I'm not what I'm saying is look for something like this. This is a 4 hour for OMG. Let that come down to target 1, target 2. I would not be surprised to see a 20%, 25% pullback before going to new all-time highs, something like that. A lot of these have been zigzagging like that where if you missed it or you see something like that, get it on your radar. That's kind of been the message over the last several sessions. One of the other ones that we mentioned probably a few times, hasn't done much, reminds me of OMG, is this polka dot. Go to the weekly. Are we going to go to the 886 if that's up around 47 or 48? Which I do think we will. That eventually on this run, if even if it fails to break out, this was another shark formation that just kind of revving until it gets up to our 886 at 47. That would complete that shark. And then the other one we talked about last week, which is looked ugly and but has done a pullback. Okay, and this is algo. Huge move in July through August. And we were targeting somewhere around 165 we had on the 4 hour time frame. Maybe it was an hourly. Crab pattern down here. There you go. Well, that's the recent one. Yeah, here you go. You have two of them. This is from the software, so you're at 2 of 2 off of this larger crab pattern, that deep crab. You have a the smaller crab pattern that just completed over the last 2 or 3 sessions. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come back. That's on an hourly, but it is really trying to just anywhere at that yellow line, trying to fail it and can't. Keep an eye on that. It's a good sign to see multiple patterns banging on that lower end where 147, 148 is your maximum low. But trying to break out. Here's the trend line off the top too. Just I don't know how much longer you can kind of stay without busting through that. And again, all of these looking for continuations. If this is going to continue, okay. The final piece with that is looking at 4 hour oversold, looking at harmonic strength index. These are some of the tools we use. I don't want to go into it too much, but again, we're looking for these kind of triggers where that retracement's done. That after the initial surge, you're kind of coming back. This is the place to be taking shots. We see Cardano coming back to life, and check out this pattern. Again, different pattern structure, but still the 1-2 framework. This is a butterfly pattern. Let me blow that up. This is on a 4-hour chart. There's your reaction up to target 1. Now, tough to see on this, but came right back down to the XA at 2.01, clipped it, and that should get you going up to this target 2 at a minimum. At target 2 is 248. A lot of these have shaped up just in the last few days, where they did their retest right before the end of the month, and now bang. There was one other one. I forget. Let's look at XRP really quick. Yep. I want to go on the daily. There you go. So again, another one where you're like most of them came down on this last test and didn't even get down to your 618 level. About 50, not even 55%, and now starting to bust out. Now, something with XRP that's kind of interesting you want to see. Really, actually, the breakout today, busting above this prior high. Looks like that. Your first complex move to get off of that low. We haven't had a structure like that at all. There's actually a few things going on here at XRP. I'm looking at this one, and I'm looking at Binance as well. If there was going to be any crypto that gets targeted, this would definitely something that's going to get hit with regulation. This would be a lot weaker, is my point. Yeah, Atom. Yeah, that's it. Cosmos was the other one we were talking about within that group. Cosmos is just still holding up within that wedge. Huge move, not nearly the pullback I would want to see. Any pattern here? Yeah. We did generate this bat pattern, but not as big as the other one in Bitcoin or Ethereum, and not as ideal. You're still kind of reaction. Haven't even hit target 1 yet. Oh, you just hit target one. But go on the daily because that hasn't pulled back enough. If anything, take a look. This is our amplified RSI indicator. And after that huge move up to 42, still needs time. I would want to see that come down, uh, almost register, if not register, and oversold. That's in a different position than, say, some of the ones that recently completed. There's that AXS. And I've talked about the difference of this red line going on. There's a reason why that goes on because of the type of structure. And we usually want to track that. Now, this AXS had a really nice reading all the way back to oversold. And once that's set up, bang. That's the better formation. That's the kind of better relative position we want to see these in. And I think a lot of them are setting up or have already bottomed. Some that have been pummeled, others that are just kind of like just hanging in there. Um, One or two more. So actually, let me just kind of go back on Ethereum really quick because I think this is the one we have the most ideal multiple confirmation coming off of this top, and what to look for coming off of the, the today's reversal. I mean, it's huge. We're going to close above anything above 3,200. Really, any above 3,175 is fine. But you want to see a strong close, strong continuation where by Sunday or early next week, you're at 3,500. You're up here at this 3,600 level, and then convincingly continuing. Total market cap, same deal. Now, take a look at what happened on Ethereum on this last run. It's a lot like AXS, but I think Ethereum's even better because it's a monster. It's a second largest, maybe soon to be the largest. And we have this again. Your red line went on. What's that mean? There's a complex structure. So this this whole down move over the last couple of weeks is corrective, looking for and anticipating that return where now we're busting up above the 50 level. That gives you all the momentum you need to at least carry you back up, I think, 886. These are minimum levels. So again, a lot of these are setting up, but they're not going to really do much unless you get this continuation. But your A1 position is, I think, with Ethereum, Bitcoin in a way that you haven't been in weeks, if not a couple of months. Last time you've been at this kind of a position, relative position, at least with what we do with amplified RSI and how to look at that as an area where you could really get launched from, you have to go back to late June. You have to go back to this area here of that secondary test, probably even maybe back to late July. I think this is a even stronger position because you did your reversal, you had a strong ideal reaction, and now you're doing the return. Final piece of all of this, folks, that is important to highlight: the simple ABCDs that materialized off of this most recent peak, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, it looks like this. Okay, it's kind of like it, almost perfect like that. Pretty sloppy, but that really is important. That has a that corrective character with that ABCD right off the top. Okay, with this M formation, I'm going to show you where to get that and learn about that. That's a strategy I outlined in my volume 3. Okay, and this is the ideal spot to be looking for smaller term patterns, which we had on hourly or 4 hour basis. And then, on a daily time frame, the 30-day correction's over. Here we go, 30-day cycle back up. And then everything else that stock to flow models talking about, so be it. There's a lot there. Again, I think that's the thing you want to focus on. I think there's a bunch more. Yeah, the other ones, you guys, the Ren, you're mentioning that one. That's another one that's already moving. The best bet to do with all of those that are just kind of launching, yeah, Ren's up at $1. You have to wait for these pullbacks because no doubt Solana, OMG, they all showed you that they're going to correct 20-30%, give you an entry, even if they've mooned and gone crazy. They're going to come back and give you another opportunity. With all of these, that's how I would look at it. So really quick, let's go to Harmonic Trader, folks. Again, I'm going to walk everyone through how to get access to the program and how to get access to all the information. I'm there you go. Go to harmonictrader.com and click the register now button. That will sign you up. And then once you get there, you log in. Now, I want to show everybody that strategy that I'm talking about from my book. So you'll go register as a free basic member. And then once you do, go to the basic members page. Now, I'm going to show you where this strategy comes from, this complex formation. We're using it on, there you go. We're using it on the amplified RSI. You can use it on regular RSI. Okay, so you can do it manually if you want. Again, this is my volume 3 that you can access free. All the books are free on the website as a basic member. And so it's good to have the reference material to learn and basically study all the dynamics of the patterns, and then take the free trial. Now I want to show, this is where it comes from. Okay, it's basically the complex formation of how we look at the M and W formations. All right, and that's, there you go, that's what it was. I just lost it. So I call it an advanced RSI BAM, but it really, what it is just the recognition of that complex structure. And so with an ABCD formation, this is happening in the crypto right now. And that's why this is a pretty significant opportunity and a pretty substantial scenario with the way we look at it with harmonic patterns. We know they work in crypto. So check out the volume 3 book, but look at the illustration, okay? And we have the complex formation. It comes down, it registers. I was outlining this in the book on relative strength. Now we're utilizing it and can be utilized with the amplified RSI. And what we look for, especially with these ABCDs, is they come down, trigger that ABCD, and then they at least give you the retest launch. If you have a pattern that's there, even better. That's the kind of thing that really, that advantage, understanding those dynamics, are going to isolate phenomenal opportunities, unlike other things, other maybe just random patterns that you may just try to, like, randomly trade. I don't know. So check all of that out. Go to harmonictrader.com and then get access to at least the TradingView platform. And if you have any other questions, you know where to reach me. Everything there is, again, take advantage of the free trial on all the software. If you want more than one platform, so be it. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with this Bitcoin chart. Where are we? We're plus amazing. It's up almost over 9% right now. So check it out, you guys. I'll be back next Friday. I'll have a little more to share with you, but do check out that strategy on what's happening with Ethereum and Bitcoin with that ABCD, and we'll come back see how we that shapes up. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and as always, go get them.